We start with 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. And the only things right now we're looking for, we want to see how we can look at this one. Whether this one can turn to a flat for continuation or we can expect the price for drop. Anyway, but the best things is we move to daily chart. You want to see in a bigger picture how we can look at the chart. The first things we need to know whether this is the start of the up move and this is the only correction with this one is as the last wave, or we can expect this one turn to a more complex correction. That means this one can turn to a more complex flat, similar to what we put our line here as a red one. That means can we expect to get one more drop or not? All right, but if we want to put this one as a wave, the only thing is we want to see whether we can put in relative to this one or not. Okay, now what I want to highlight here that as long as the price haven't broke 42 300 42300, we need to be quite careful if we wants to trade at the top, if we wants to look for buy. Okay, because we can expect this one turn to a more complex flat. All right, now we want to see how we can look for trade. By the way, based on daily chart, we don't see any trade setup unless we see the some correction here. In this case, we move to forward chart. All right, the first things I need to highlight that if we put this top relative to the previous one, if we refer to the indicators, we see we have a divergence, and as well based on MACD. Okay, that's why as long as the price haven't broke 42 300, and mostly we're looking at this soon. That means 41 300 following by 42 300. As long as the price haven't break this zone, we need to be quite careful. Okay, because buying at the top is very risky. All right, and now we want to see how we can look at the chart, whether we can expect this one to give us one more drop. Can we look at this one as a flat, running flat for one move up or not? This is the only way we can look at this one as a flat. The best things is we look at the chart based on 1 hour chart if we want to look for trade. And even if we move to 1 hour chart, we see we have a divergence. If we put this top in relative to the previous one, if we refer to the indicators, we see we have a divergence. That's why even here, that's why we need to be quite careful in case this is not the one is going to give us a continuation for breakout of the 42 300. Okay, now I want to see how we can look at the chart. For me, if I want to look for buy, I consider this is the start of the up move. What I prefer to get one more drop similar to what I have here, because at that times I will look at this one as a flat, then any reversal from there I will take the trade for buy. Buying at this top from here is not a really good idea, because the only way we can look for buy, either we put our entry above here or above this top. And what we want to see the breakout of this zone. Okay, now we want to see how we can look for trade, whether we wait for the confirmation to see the breakout of this zone, that's mean the breakout of 42 300, then from there we look for buy, or we wait for one more drop, at least we confirm with this flat. Okay, that's mean we confirm we see this flat. If there is no continuation, any reversal as a short move flag, from there we will take the trade. This is the only way. Again, the first of things, we wait for this flat, as I mentioned, for one more drop before we take the trade, or we wait for the breakout of the 42 300 to see the confirmation as a continuation. Then from there, we look for trade, for buy. This is the two options we can take the trade. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. If I want to look for buy, either any of this option, either we wait for one more drop, that's mean we wait for the flat. If we confirm for this flat, then from there I will take the trade for buy, or I will wait for the confirmation for the 42 300. That's mean buying within this one is not a really good idea, because as we can see, we don't see really good trade setup unless we consider this one as a sharp move flag. In that case, we need to move to 15 minutes. That means if you want to consider this one as a start of the up move, as a sharp move, and this is a flag, the only way is to put our entry above this top. And what we want to see the continuation as a short move. And with the breakout of the previous top, we have to start to manage at least move or stop loss to break even. That means if we want to trade from here, we consider this one as a sharp move flag, a start of the up move. Because as I mentioned earlier, for me, if I want to look for trade, I want to see get one more drop. at least with the breakout of this, because we can consider this one as a flat. Then any reversal from there, I will take the trade as long as the price haven't break 40 to 300. This is what I explained earlier based on 1 hour chart. But if anyone they think this they want to trade this one, and there is a possibility the price can continue from here, the only option is to put our entry above the stop, which is around 40700 or 40690. And what we want to see the continuation as a sharp move, and as long as the price broke the previous stop, which is somewhere around 40900, we have to start to move our stop loss to break even and just let it go. That means in that case, we need to see the continuation as a sharp move if we want to trade from here. Anyway, trading by having entry above the stop is really risky. It's like we buying at the top of the correction. That's why we need to see the continuation as a sharp move. And with the breakout of the previous stop, which is 40900, we have to start to move our stop loss to break even. We are not going to wait for the long time. And even if there is no continuation, we take out the trade. But the only thing is buying from what I'm explaining right now based on 15 minutes is really risky, and it depends on the traders whether they can take the risk or not. But the best thing is if you technically we wants to look at the chart, we move to 1 hour chart. If we wants to look for trade, what I prefer, if we get one more drop with the breakout of this low, at least what we wants to see the flat, running flat. Then any reversal from there, we will take the trade, or we wait for the breakout of this one. Okay. Anyway, if we wants to look for buy from now, we need to be really careful. And even again, if anyone wants to trade based on this, what I explained based on 15 minutes, they need to be really careful, because we mentioned how we can look for the trade. We need to see the continuation as a sharp move, and with the breakout of the previous stop, we start to manage it. All right. But again, I need to highlight that I won't suggest it to look at this one as a flat short move flag based on 15 minutes. And the best thing is we wait for one more drop. If we get any flat from there, this is what we prefer to look if we want to look for buy. At least we need to see one more drop since we have a divergence. Then if there is no continuation, we see any reversal from there, we will take the trade. Or either we wait for the breakout of this zone. We see the confirmation for the breakout of 42,300. Okay. The only thing is if we move to forward chart, all right, there is a possibility this one can turn to more complex correction, and even we can expect this one turn to internal flat. All right, because what we get here is quite complex. All right. Anyway, we just follow the chart, and in this case, right now we don't have any trade setup to look for buy unless we move to 15 minutes, unless we consider this one as a short move flag. Maybe this is the start of the up move. Right now I mentioned how we can look for trade, but I mentioned that is really risky trade. In this case, we just follow the chart. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.